The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? That feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios on O Street.
Your Christmas list changes a lot as you get older. Dreams of video games, remote control cars, and baseball gloves turn into dreams of shoes. You know, practical things. Brown Shoe Fit is the king of shoes in Lincoln, with brands like Sorel, UGG, Brooks, Hoka, and more to make you fashionable and comfortable. Grab a new Ridge wallet or buy 3, get 1 free on Smart Wool socks for the ultimate stocking stuffer. And don't forget a reliable gift card for that hard-to-buy person in your life. Brown Shoe Fit at 66th and Q in Lincoln.
On the farm from dawn till dusk, hardworking hands tend to the land, equipment, and the animals. But your hard work deserves a little relaxation too. Visit the Nebraska Ag Expo, December 10th through the 12th at Sand Hills Global Event Center in Lincoln. See all the latest ag innovations in livestock and equipment, precision ag, drone, and AI tech, crop inputs, grain storage, and more. Take a break from the daily grind and recharge at the Nebraska Ag Expo. You deserve it. Sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Are you or someone you love struggling with substance use? The Bridge Behavioral Health in Lincoln offers outpatient therapy for those 19 and over. The Bridge is conveniently located in the South Haymarket and near city bus lines. With payment options through insurance and a sliding fee scale, services are available for any adult 19 and over seeking help. Call 402-477-3951 to learn more or schedule your appointment today. The Bridge Behavioral Health is a local substance use treatment facility offering hope and a solid foundation for recovery through substance use treatment and behavioral health interventions.
Midwest Bank invites you to celebrate with us. Join us for our Christmas open house on Friday, December 6th at our 70th and Pioneers or 27th and Jamie Lane locations. We'll have cookies, coffees, and apple cider waiting for you, along with the chance to enter our raffle for some wonderful prizes. Come share the holiday cheer with us. We can't wait to see you there. Happy holidays from Midwest Bank. Learn more at www.midwest.bank. Member FDIC.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart
of Lincoln, America. 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition, a Tuesday edition with absolutely nothing to talk about, of the Adam Carriker Show, the show that gives you unique insights, unbridled honesty, and producer Jake and I have a whole lot of fun in the process. All right, we got this clip. I actually said play right after the music, but I just dove right in. That's okay. Let's play this clip, ladies and gentlemen, because even when you throw for almost 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, sometimes you still just got to pray the pick sixes away. Go ahead, Jake.
I know I'm better than this. I know I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes. Like, that's not me. Like, a phenomenal game, offense, do some great things, but I messed it up.
I'm just praying for the Lord to take the pick sixes away. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's not Husker related. It's not even college sports related, but it's football. But Jameis Winston is just fun. And we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about today. I mean, my Lord, Dana Holgorsen, Tony White, DeKel Shorts, the new wide receivers coach, Daniel Kalen, Pritzwell Human-Yillen. Might as well let you know he just entered the transfer portal. Literally just got that text while the intro music was being played. So another Husker with talent, potential, promise, things of that nature has entered the transfer portal. It is the way of college football. It's not just going to be unique to Nebraska. This obviously does not make us better. But Pritzwell Human-Yillen is now officially in the transfer portal. Daniel Kalen. They've announced the all Big Ten teams. Nebraska only has one player on there, and he's only third team, which is highway robbery. And we're going to get into all of the above. But I heard this clip this morning from Jameis Winston. And if you watched that game in the snow versus the Steelers, dude, that was one of my favorite interviews I've ever heard before the game. If you heard that, and then the post-game press conference was great. And then obviously they go out and they beat the Steelers in snow. And I didn't watch the game last night versus the Broncos. All right, the Browns lost 32-41. But I saw that clip, or heard that clip, and I'm like, that's just the quote of the decade. You got to pray the pick sixes away. At Husker Nation, we got to pray us a new D coordinator and a whole bunch of other things as well. But that's the way of college football. But I looked up Jameis's stats. Oh man, almost 500 yards passing, 497 yards, 4 touchdowns. What is 3 interceptions? Yeah. I don't know how many were pick sixes. I'm going to assume there was 1 or 2 or a couple in there because, the clip we just played. I just thought that Jameis Winston's become a guy who's almost reinvented himself a little bit. He's hard not to root for at this point. And honestly, I just thought it was a great quote and a great way to kick off the show. All right. As per yesterday and going forward, each day going forward, we are going to be doing a daily prize giveaway. And I have not had a chance to think about how we're going to do this since yesterday. So what we can do again today, I literally did 5 shows yesterday, by the way. So this thing is going to evolve. It's going to be fun. And you get free stuff. So who wouldn't want that? All right. So here's what we're going to do. The new daily giveaway. All right. $100 gift certificate to Automotive Solutions. Automotive Solutions, ladies and gentlemen. That's 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln. All right. All you have to do today, this will evolve over time. All you have to do today, call in, be caller number 5. And Rico will let you know if you're caller number 5 or not. And what we will also do, we'll do what we did yesterday. They'll patch you through. The 5th caller, you will win this. Here are the conditions for the gift. You must make an appointment. Good for mechanical repairs, preventive maintenance, services, or vinyl services. It is transferable. All right, expires 180 days after the receipt by the listener to be validated by the station upon picking it up. And you can pick up the gift certificate if you are indeed caller number 5. All right. Pick up gift certificate from 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 11th. And ladies and gentlemen, just simply be caller number 5. And then just for fun, we're going to patch you through and I'm just going to ask you a random trivia question. All right. So that's all you got to do. What's that number they can call into, Jake?
402-464-5685.
All right. You, Rico, let me know whenever we got caller number 5. We'll patch them on through and I'll make up a trivia question for them. All right. In the meantime, Adam Carriker Show, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Steve Taylor on Wednesdays, noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. Unique insights, unbridled honesty, a whole lot of fun. Got a whole lot of stuff to talk about. All right, we're going to start. Where do we start? Goodness gracious. All right, we got a new wide receivers coach. Let's start with that. DeKel Shorts. Now, Nebraska football plans to hire Kentucky assistant DeKel Shorts as its next full-time receivers coach, a source confirmed. All right. Shorts' impending hire has been reported by 247 Sports. Now, he's a former wide receiver at West Virginia, caught 177 passes for 2,263 yards, obviously was there. All right. When Mr. Holgorsen was there, 14 touchdowns. Shorts played for and later worked for new Nebraska offensive coordinator Dana Holgorsen, who on Monday signed a two-year deal with Nebraska. All right. He had a short stint in the NFL with the Buffalo Bills. Later coached Houston's receivers, all right, 2021, 2022, 2023, under Dana Holgorsen before moving, all right, for one season to Kentucky. Now, this is the job, as most of you know, previously held by Nebraska's wide receiver coach at the time, Garrett McGuire. Now, he does have the option to stay on. I should mention that. I'm being shown stuff, and I'm not sure what it means.
It says done. I think it's for the call.
Oh, for the call. All right, we've got a caller. You want to patch him on through?
Yeah, it should be done there.
I was like, they're showing me random words, and one of them's Don. What does that mean? All right, now it makes sense. All right, Don, are you with me?
I am with you. Thanks. I'm excited.
Well, you are our official winner, all right? And you will be getting a, let me see here, make sure I say this right, $100 gift certificate to Automotive Solutions. Now, you've already won, so there's nothing on the line here. This is just purely for fun, all right? There's this trivia question, but you come into 93.7 The Ticket, come pick it up, and then you can use that $100 gift certificate to Automotive Solutions. But here is the trivia question that I'm going to make up right here, right now on the spot, and it is this. The last time Nebraska went to a bowl game, 2016, how many wins did they have at the end of the season after that bowl game was played?
7?
I'll give you one more try. Go up.
8.
9. 9 wins.
No,
9 wins.
Really?
I'll give you a second chance.
my God.
Who'd they play in the bowl game? You can either get the opponent right, actually, or the bowl game. Either one. I don't care. Think Nashville.
This is terrible. Well then it's I'm sorry that I can't even come up with it because I'm so old school.
No, you're okay. Hey, it's hard to be put on the spot. Ask Jake. Poor Jake. I do it to him all the time. He does a phenomenal job. So Tennessee in the Music City Bowl. We might be going back to Nashville in the Music City Bowl again this year. Would that be all right with you, Don? You still there, Don?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. I'm sorry, I was cut off.
Would that be all right with you if Nebraska did indeed go back to Nashville and the Music City Bowl again this year?
Well, God, I'd be crazy about that. That sounds like an awesome trip. I said we'd take 20,000 fans plus.
I think that'd be a lot of fun, and I do think it makes Nebraska much more appealing than your typical 6-6 team going into the bowl season. All right, Don, you are our winner for the day. $100 gift certificate to Automotive Solutions. You can pick up the gift certificate here at 93.7 The Ticket at 11th and O. Thank you for joining me, Don, and congratulations.
And go Big Red. Thank you so much. I love the show.
Go Big Red. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, we've got 2 winners in 2 days, and I'm being shown more things. I don't know what it means.
Check your phone.
Check my phone. All right, hold on. Let me check my phone. Prince William Manillan is indeed in the portal. Thank you, Nick. Nick has helped me quite a bit, actually. He's a guy with a lot of knowledge. So thank you very much, Nick. Prince Will is in the portal. As probably reported, one of the first folks to report it is here at 93.7 The Ticket here on the Adam Carriker Show. I will say this. You remember when we were like Dana Holgorsen's in the facility down at the football facility? He's there right now before it was really talked about publicly. Do you remember that, Jake?
Yeah.
That was here too. I just want to point that out to everybody. All right.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Nebraska's new wide receivers coach. We talked about him. Now, this is a guy who obviously knows Dana Holgorsen and Holgorsen's system specifically. Okay. It's interesting with Garrett McGuire. He's a former college quarterback. He can bring value if he wants to stay on. He still has the option to stay at Nebraska in an adjusted role. Okay, so they haven't completely let him go. He's got the option to stay on. He did play quarterback in college, and so we'll see what happens with him in his future going forward. He just turned 25. He's a young man who's got a bright future ahead of him. His time is just not now to be a position-specific coach or the head of a full position group just yet, and that's okay. So I'm curious to see what's going on with him going forward. It was interesting. I remember when he was hired. All right, because it reminded me of when I was at the Rams. My D-line coach when I first got there, the first 2 years was Brian Baker. That guy has coached now over 30 years in the NFL. He was very old school, very hard-nosed, not a guy you mess with. A couple years in, I got a new D-line coach, Coach Daly. And he was younger than 3/4 of our starting defensive line. Now, granted, Leroy Glover was in his mid-30s. Leonard Little was in his mid-30s. James Hall, who played on that 97 Michigan team, was in his early 30s. And then I was the baby at like 24, I think. I might have been 23 still. And so 75% of our starting defensive line was older than Coach Daly, who was in his late 20s. And I had a hard time looking at him and taking him seriously. And I know they did as well. Now, I should mention Coach Daly's gone on to win I think 2 Super Bowls maybe. I know at least one later on in his career with the Patriots. I haven't kept in touch with him lately, but sometimes that can work against a guy. You're almost prejudged a little bit. But at the same time, we had talented receivers, big receivers who were all conference type receivers elsewhere who didn't fulfill their potential here at Nebraska. So it's a good move to bring in a new wide receivers coach. I wish Coach McGuire the best, whether he continues to stay here at Nebraska in some sort of capacity and or go somewhere else. Now, Dana Holgorsen. All right, Tony White's gone. I'm just going to offer some real quick thoughts as to why, he may or may not be gone. I got a couple of thoughts here. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. I wish him the best at Florida State. He drastically improved our defense immediately. All right. I know wasn't exactly thrilled when he wasn't consulted about John Butler being hired last summer. Probably wasn't thrilled about Phil Snow, even though he wasn't in the building at the facility, being a consultant defensively from afar. All right. And, some people look at Florida State as a lateral move to Nebraska. I in my own mind, obviously Florida State's warmer weather, things of that nature. You're going to play a much easier schedule if that conference even exists in a couple of years. There's a couple of thoughts there. For me, I could go either way. I see pluses or minuses. I also see Nebraska in the Big Ten, which is a much more stable conference, a much more stable situation. You're going to make much more money. Now, maybe Florida State's joining the Big Ten in the next year or two, and we just don't know it, or the SEC. I doubt if they're going to be one of those teams left out in the cold. I do know from time to time over the past year, there was a little bit of clashing of the heads with Coach Knight and Coach White and a couple of folks down there. And it's interesting with Coach Knighton. You go back to last summer when he changed his entire X profile. And then, some things got changed back and the CEO of Death Row and all that. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, that means something. That means something. And so when I saw there's a chance he may or may not be going with Coach White, we'll see how this all unfolds. And then when everything's finalized, when we get to that point, I wasn't entirely shocked, but we'll see what happens ultimately with Coach Knight. And obviously Coach White is going to Florida State. But there is a few more things that go on with Coach White. I've kind of alluded to him here, but again, wish him the best. I don't want to spend too much time on that. The big news of yesterday was retaining Dana Holgorsen. This is an individual who has never had an offense when he's the coordinator. All right. He's been a head coach, brings 32 years of collegiate coaching experience to the Husker staff, 13 years as a head coach. All right, he was also a position coach as a quarterbacks coach and a wide receivers coach throughout his career as well, but he was a specific offensive coordinator for 6 seasons as well. He is a guy that has never had an offense. When he's the offensive coordinator, finished lower than 3rd in passing in America. Okay, the average is number 2 in America as far as being a passing offense. Okay, when he's the offensive coordinator. Think about it, in America, not in the conference, in the country. All right. And when it comes to total offense, they're 3rd on average in total offense. All right. And 6th in the country in scoring when he's the offensive coordinator throughout his 6 years as being a specifically an OC. He's also coached the all-time FBS leader in touchdown passes, the all-time FBS leader in total offense, the FBS season record holder in completions. All right. And he was a coordinator for 2 of the top 4 passing offenses in FBS history. So to me, there's a lot of stats that have been talked about him. I hadn't heard those specifically put together like that. And so to me, there's things to be excited about. I think we're going to have more of an identity going forward. It's going to be pass first. It's going to be passes as an extension of the run game. And I'm okay with that because if that's who he is and that's what he does, and by God, let's do that. And I do think our yards per carry average will go up. even though we may not run the ball as much. If you're scoring, people are going to be okay with that. All right, so when you think about the transfer portal, obviously Daniel Kalen has entered today. This is the guy that Matt Rule has looked right at me and said he's an NFL quarterback. Right, he's got an NFL potential written all over him, NFL arm. All right, and this is a guy who's entered the portal as of today. Not a shock, fairly predictable. I got nothing but love. He switched from Missouri to Nebraska when the quarterback position was open in his recruiting class. And then when Dylan decided to come to Nebraska, he stayed the course. He did a bunch of peer recruiting. A lot of last year's class was influenced by Daniel Kalen to come here throughout this entire season. Doesn't say a peep, doesn't complain, red shirts, and now he's got 4 years to play. I believe we're past all that COVID eligibility stuff, so nobody's going to play for like 7, 8, 22 years anymore, I believe. So he's got 4 years left to play, and he's a guy I'm going to be rooting for in the future, and I'm excited to see what he can do because he's very, very talented. Also, Prince William and Yillen, want to wish him the best as well. It's tough. It's tough. When Jamari Butler, all right, the guy I saw yesterday, when you see these guys who've started for us, who have talent, who are young, who have a bright future, and they're entering the portal, it is tough. It does not make Nebraska better. But the one thing I look around and I say is it's going to happen to every school, which is why being a college football coach, by God, is harder than it's ever been. I don't even know that coaching is like half the gig anymore. It's managing an entire, basically corporation is what they've become. It's a multi-billion-dollar business is what college football is. And that's basically what you're doing. And then you've got to recruit high school kids, other schools' kids, transfer portal, and your own kids. And then you've got to manage everything. You've got to manage a roster. It's why college football teams, including Nebraska, now have a GM. I never heard of a GM in college football until about a year ago. And when Nebraska hired one, I was like, yep, that was a good hire. Because you now need those things. I think with Dana, one of the things that excites me a lot, I was hopeful he would improve our offense at the end of the year last year. I was. I didn't know how realistic it was. I just didn't in such a short time frame. And granted, Wisconsin's not a great team. But what we saw within 2 weeks, and I talked about from game 1 to game 2 is probably going to be the biggest improvement under Dana Holgorsen as the OC. From game 1 to game 2, well, that was USC to Wisconsin. That was the biggest improvement. Maybe Wisconsin was the least effective of the 3 opponents as well. But defensively, they were the 3rd best statistical defense we played all year. Right, their offense was what was really struggling for the most part throughout the season. And you look at what they did, and you look how quickly it happened, and you looked at the tempo and the physicality that changed in the trenches on the offensive line. Now, the offensive line wasn't without flaws in that Wisconsin game, but the pass protection was so much better. I think out of all of Dylan Raiola's passes that day, he wasn't sacked once, and I think he was hurried only 4 times. Wasn't knocked down at all. So the O-line played better. And it's interesting to me because when one guy comes in, and there's an obvious drastic improvement, and it happens that quickly, and there's still a lot that needs to be improved. And I will say this, going to Iowa, there were points left on the board that were not on Dana Holgorsen. He can only scheme people open so far. He can only put you in short field goal range so many times. Essentially, somebody's got to actually put it through the uprights, catch the ball, and not fumble the ball, whatever. But I look at what Dana did, and I'm like, it's awesome. But everybody else that was already here couldn't get that out of them. So to me, there has to be an insane evaluation of everybody on the entire coaching staff, especially that offensive staff. And I talked about the offensive line. And all of a sudden, why is the offensive line playing so much better? Because there's a new OC. To me, I looked at that and I'm like, man, that's awesome, Dana. But what about everybody else like that had been here? Some of them were doing a good job. Some of them, like the running backs, needed to play better. The wide receivers needed to play better. I just talked about how much better the offensive line played within a couple of weeks. Why weren't they doing that before? And so for me, that's kind of how, when I look at Holgorsen, I'm like, I'm excited. I'm curious to see what changes are or are not made in addition to the wide receivers coach throughout this offseason. We need the best coaches here. If they're already here, awesome. If there's little tweaks and adjustments that can be made, awesome. If we need to get someone else, then let's do that as well. Okay? I'm good with whatever. Dana Holgorsen is a guy who comes in with a lot of cachet, a proven history, and obviously it's someone the players are going to listen to because you don't change that drastically unless your mental approach changes. If you're an offensive player, because you're buying into the new guy that's telling you these things that he's saying. All right. What else we got here, Jake? You got anything else on the docket real quick? Probably head to break.
Yeah, not as far as news goes. It's been a slow 10 minutes.
Oh my! I see what you did there. I got a couple of final thoughts, then we will go to break. Some guys I would really like to keep. All right, Vincent Shavers, Ja'Cory Barney, who seemed very happy that Dana was signed back, so that seems good. Dylan Raiola, who should be very happy that Dana Holgorsen is here. And Willis McGahee, all young players. 2 of them linebackers, 2 of them on offense, affecting the passing game. There's people who are going to come and go, but we need to keep those players around and keep them here. And, you know, Nebraska's bowl eligible for the first time since 2016, and I have not even yet thrown out what the bowl projections are. Here's a couple of them. All right, the Rate Bowl versus Texas Tech, the Mayo Bowl, all right, versus Duke, Pinstripe Bowl versus Boston College, Pinstripe Bowl versus Duke, Music City Bowl versus LSU. Here's a couple other that I saw. All right, Duke versus Nebraska in the Duke's Mayo Bowl, and the Rate Bowl in Phoenix, Nebraska versus Texas Tech. So those kind of seem to be the most common. There's obviously other ones out there. Here's what I will say, and then we'll go to break. Obviously, struggles to win games in November. The games to let me start over. The games to remember are played in November, and also now when you get the college football playoff, December. But you got to get there first. 1-score losses, close losses, things of that nature. And Matt Rules, you know, had his struggles with those as well. No need to dive into the numbers for the 1 billionth time. But here's a number you might find interesting, including his entire head coaching career. There was a point in Rules' career before he came to Nebraska where he had won his last 38 games when leading entering the fourth quarter. 38 straight games his teams won prior to Nebraska. Obviously, every team's different. Every conference is different. Every situation is different. But there was a point in his career where his teams had won 38 straight games when leading entering the fourth quarter. That's the Matt Rule I want coaching our football team going forward. All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Slay the holidays this year with a gift that'll really get them going. One that's built to win, like the new Honda CR-FR Motocrosser. One that's built for fun, like a Honda Mini Moto. Or one for each member of the family, like a Honda CR-F Trail Bike. At Rod's Power Sports, you'll find the motorcycle, ATV, or side-by-side they'll love. During the Honda Gifts That Go sales event, you can slay the streets in style with the Grom Mini Moto, slay the trails with the CR-F 50F, or pile into a Pioneer 1006 Deluxe Crew that can carry 6 elves over the fields and through the woods all year long. This year, don't just give any gift. Give the gift of outdoor adventure with a ride they'll never forget. Don't miss out. Head to Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln, Nebraska during the Honda Gifts That Go sales event. It's your chance to slay the holidays and your gift list. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for complete program and safety details.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to look at their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
On the farm from dawn till dusk, hardworking hands tend to the land, equipment, and the animals. But your hard work deserves a little relaxation too. Visit the Nebraska Ag Expo, December 10th through the 12th at Sand Hills Global Event Center in Lincoln. See all the latest ag innovations in livestock and equipment, precision ag, drone, and AI tech, crop inputs, grain storage, and more. Take a break from the daily grind and recharge at the Nebraska Ag Expo. You deserve it. Sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solution offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Imagine a world where your office IT runs smoothly, securely, and effortlessly. A day where you aren't worried about the next outage or password compromise. At Hamilton, we take care of everything from monitoring and maintenance to security and support. We partner with your business to design integrated technology solutions that fit your needs now and your goals for the future. With on-site and remote IT support options, we're always just a call or click away. Elevate your IT with Hamilton Managed IT. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes, feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
This holiday season, recharge with the Planet Fitness Black Card for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. So instead of fighting a stranger in the mall over a stuffed T-Rex, bring a friend for free and work out on the TRX. Instead of freezing in line for a lame holiday deal, relax in the Black Card spa with some hydro massage feels. Instead of being trapped at your in-laws, escape to any of our 2,600 Planet Fitness locations. Sign up today for the Planet Fitness Black Card. Just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Deal ends Friday, December 6th. See Club for details.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show, segment 2 of this wonderful program. Hopefully you enjoyed somewhat, un poquito, a bit. Second segment 2 of the Adam Carriker Show is sponsored by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue at 11th and Cornhusker, open Monday through Saturday. Every day I read this, I get hungry. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a phenomenal place to eat. It's also the lunch hour. You should just go there every day, get some lunch, eat, and listen to this program. That's just my recommendation. All right, open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burn-end sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, a full slab of ribs, a half-smoked chicken, and much more. They also have incredible sides. Get fueled for your lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, located at 11th and Cornhusker. All right, we're getting a whole bunch of texts in, but I want to ask the fine folks who are listening 2 questions. Number 1, because admittedly, we decorated our house for Christmas before Black Friday because we had this conversation a couple weeks on the show. When's it appropriate to decorate your house? All right, due to the Nebraska game on Friday and sporting events on Saturday, we did it before Black Friday. It has now become the tradition at the Carriker house, just due to schedule's sake, that we used to do it on Black Friday. It is now the day before Thanksgiving. The kids have the day off school. There's no Husker game. There's no insanity yet. It's really kind of a chill day, so we take the day and do one of the most blasphemous things under God's hot sun, and we decorate the house for Christmas on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. Now, here's my question. I've admitted my sin, all right, on air for everyone to hear. But here's my question. You got to be honest, because the overwhelming response we got when we asked, when should you decorate your house? When's it appropriate? Is Black Friday. I want to know, how many of you decorated your house after Thanksgiving or before? Feel free to text in your answer to the text line. What's that number there, Jake?
402-464-5685.
All right. I do actually have a football-related question. At some point, we'll dive a little bit more into the bowl game, locations, locale, predictions, and all that stuff. Right now, somehow the bowl game and all that's been buried under all the other non-news that we have going on in Husker Nation. But here's my other question. You can answer one, the other, or both, if you're so inclined. What bowl game do you predict Nebraska will end up at? The Rate Bowl in Phoenix, Duke's Mayo Bowl in Carolina, the Pinstripe Bowl in New York, the Music City Bowl in Nashville. Let us know. Text in when you decorated your house for Christmas and or what bowl game you believe Nebraska will go to. Give the number one more time, Jake.
402-464-5685.
All right. We should also note real quick, it's a bittersweet congratulations to Ty Robinson. It's sweet because they announced the all Big Ten teams today. He's the only Husker on any of the Big Ten teams. That's correct, Jake?
Yep.
Okay, third team all Big Ten for Ty Robinson. So congratulations. It's also bitter because that is a bunch of bull crap. He is easily a first or second team all conference performer. So I want to give a shout out to the guy who is probably my favorite player on the entire team this year. And I said that before the season. The way little things matter to me. He's at every single press conference. Post game, Monday, he's always there. He doesn't have to do that. That's taking a leadership role. That's putting yourself on Front Street after a tough loss. That's being accountable and answering questions when sometimes people want nothing to do with it. I'll tell you right now, I wanted nothing to do with it. And unless Keith Mann made it a point to be like, hey, Adam, you're a captain, you got to get up there. Okay, fine. I also just didn't like public speaking at the time, so there's a little bit more that goes into that. But Ty Robinson is one of my favorite players for multiple reasons. Because of the way he carries himself, the way he represents the university. Then he goes out and he has a great season. All right, at Big Ten Media Days, he was hilarious because Amon Green asked him about his NCAA college football rating, and you could tell he was not happy. I forget exactly what it was, but the thing that bothered him the most was his pass rush rating, and he just looked at me and he goes, mid-season upgrades. Now, I don't know what the mid-season upgrades were or were not for Ty, but I do know his stats. Now, you got to keep in mind, this is not a 4-3 defensive end. This is a 3-3-5 defensive end. As a guy who played in the 3-4, I will tell you right now, it is almost twice as hard to get a sack out of a 3-4. I got to imagine a 3-3-5 is similar as compared to a 4-3 penetrating defense where you're just pinning your ears back and going after the quarterback all the time, especially in the Big Ten where you're going to run the ball, see running offenses first way more often than not. He has 6 sacks this year. All right. So when you talk about upgrades, you know, he had 1 sack a season ago, and I thought he played really, really well. He actually had more tackles, more sacks, and more teams were focused on him. So shout out to Ty Robinson, all right, for being honored as all Big Ten. Personally, I believe it should be higher than third team, but hey, nothing but love and respect. All right. You know, it was interesting. I thought Nash Hutmaker had a little bit of an up and down year. At times he played really well. I thought he was a little bit more up and down than he was a year ago. I love the whole wrestling story last winter. I didn't say much while it was going on because I wanted to see how it unfolds. But I will tell you right now, I have put on 100 pounds in my life, going from 225 as a quarterback my senior year of high school, going all the way up to 325 for one day. And when I was in Washington, and then I played the rest of my time there at about 315, 310. But when I retired, I got all the way down to 225. So I can honestly say I put on 100 pounds. I've lost 100 pounds. All right. I like to eat and lift too much. I'm now about 270, and I'm very happy with that. I'm actually 280. I want to be 270. I couldn't lie on air, Jake. I got to get rid of 10 pounds. I'm going to do it after the holidays. But my point is, it's hard to do that. And he had to do it a short amount of time frame. He didn't have a winter conditioning because he was wrestling. They never had an offseason. He went from one physical sport to the next physical sport, did something insanely impressive, made nationals in major Division I Big Ten college wrestling after you hadn't wrestled for 3 or 4 years. Insanely impressive. But I remember thinking, he's not getting a winter conditioning. He's not getting an offseason. His body's not getting a break. I wonder how that's going to impact him. So as cool as that story was, and I thought he did some good things this year. I'm not saying anything negative. Okay, but it was a little bit more up and down than a year ago. Okay, half the amount of sacks this year, things of that nature. Sometimes that can fluctuate, just on its own. Going forward, I think multi-sport athletes is awesome. I do think trying to do football and wrestling is incredibly challenging. But I do want to shout out to Nash Huntmaker, the polar bear, on a great career at Nebraska, and all the other seniors as well. All right, if I tried to list them all, I'd be here all show. Now, we are going to dive into a couple other things and put a final button on the Iowa game. I never even addressed Iowa, but for 5 minutes yesterday, there was so much going on. Did I even talk about the Iowa game on the show yesterday?
Oh, man, not too much. You're right.
We're just going to spend 5 minutes here. We're going to put a button on it. So there's this guy, some guy I've never heard of, Nick Sainer. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Nick?
No.
I've never heard of him either. All right. Nick does a great job. I'm just going to read his tweet directly. Driving home from Iowa City with thoughts. So here's a thread. Feel free to add. 1, Nebraska special teams has to improve. It's the difference maker in so many of their games. Amen. Hallelujah. Preach and praise the Lord. All right. You got to pray the pick sixes away, Nick. All right. Their already slim margin for error becomes even more narrow when you can't reverse the field. Couldn't agree more. All right. This is the final button on the Iowa game. The last 2 Iowa games, Nebraska has had the ball. Think about this, Jake. The last 2 games, and try to keep the turkey down from Thanksgiving while you're at it, because it's brutal. The last 2 Iowa games, Nebraska has had the ball near midfield in a tied 10-10 game with 1 minute left, driving for a chance to win the game. Lost both games in regulation 13-10. We had the ball with a minute to go near midfield. We control the outcome of this game. All right. That was rough. I will say this. I thought this was interesting. Somebody sent this to me. This is actually from when Ohio played Minnesota years ago when Solich was there. Josiah Yazdani, the Ohio kicker, lined up to try a 53-yard field goal. This ties into Nebraska, Iowa. Just bear with me. In the closing moments, the Gophers called timeout just before the snap to try to ice him, who then kicked the ball anyway. But the officials flagged him for delay of game, which incensed Ohio coach Frank Solich. He decided not to try the 58-yarder. And I quote, "The way the sequence developed and the flow of it," Solich said, "that was very much a surprise to me." Should there have been a flag on Iowa? Kicking the ball, delay a game, Jake?
Matt Rule certainly wanted one.
Just saying, there's been precedent set. Why would we want consistency? Let's hire part-time officials that never have to be held accountable. That'll go well. All right. Side note, Nebraska's turnover margin for 2024 dropped into the negatives. We were at one point, I believe, +6. When we were 5-1. I believe we were +6. We ended the season -7. So we are -1 on the season. The Huskers haven't had a positive turnover margin since 2016. This one really sucks. Iowa beat Nebraska with just 5 first downs, the fewest in an FBS win since 2000. That one just stinks. Nebraska lost 5 games this season by a combined 29 points, 5 scores from an 11-1 record. We landed 6-6. All right, Jake, you got any final thoughts? That's my final thoughts on it. They weren't pleasant.
No.
That's just what stood out to me, and that's what people sent to me, and I cherry-picked what I thought was the most interesting, and I appreciate all the info that people send me. Any final thoughts, Jake?
Well, it is interesting. I would ask you if Ty Robinson, I think you could argue maybe should have got a higher spot. I do agree with that. I think him and Nash Hutmacher, when we look back at this time, that Tony White's defense has really relied on those guys to get top 20 defenses. That's probably taken for granted a little bit because Nebraska didn't win in these 2 seasons. But you look at the guys that made honorable mention. You tell me among this group, or if there's somebody else that you think should have got a recognition, because it's one thing to say, "Oh, that's unfair. We should have had," but I mean, you got to point out who else would it be. The other guys that got honorable mention were Bryce Benhart, Ben Scott, John Bullock, Malcolm Hartzog, Nash Hutmacher, Deshaun Singleton, and Brian Buschini.
As far as all Big Ten?
Those are all honorable mentions. Anybody you would really have a strong argument for all Big Ten?
My big thing was Robinson should have been higher than third team. That was my big thing.
Yeah. But if your big argument is that one guy should have been higher, I mean, what are we still saying? You've got one guy that's worth an all Big Ten nod. What does that say about the program?
Let's see the names again.
Bryce Benhart, Ben Scott, John Bullock, Malcolm Hartzog, Nash Hutmacher, Deshaun Singleton, and Brian Buschini.
I don't know who's in front of him. I'm not up to date on all the Big Ten punters. Yeah. I'd have to see the people in front of him. But going into the Iowa game, and I haven't updated this. I didn't even think about it until just now. He was on pace to break Nebraska's single-season yards per punt record, break Sam Cook's record. He was ahead of him by like 0.02 yards per kick. I don't know if he ended up breaking it or not. I assume something would have been put out had he done it.
He struggled against Iowa.
Yeah, so he probably didn't. But Brian Buschini is one of those guys. My big thing was I felt like Ty should have been – they're not going to put him first team because Nebraska's 6-6 and Nebraska struggled in the way things went kind of up and down to end the year. But I thought at least second team all Big Ten. You look at what he did in a 3-3-5 defense as a lineman. It's so much harder to do some of the things he did. I have had some people ask me, hey, man, there's a lot going on. What's your trust level in Matt Rule? And I've kind of addressed this before, and I'm sure I'll address it again, especially after signing day and after the bowl game. There's a long off season, and we're going to get new information. You're constantly getting new information. I'm allowed to change my opinion based on the new information that comes to us over time. So I might say something today, and if there's no new information, I should say the same thing tomorrow. But if we get new information, I'm allowed to change. So this is something that will be discussed probably quite a bit. But here's how I look at it. Matt Rule is a guy who's willing to do whatever it takes. He does seem to be all in. We've had previous coaches. I'll just be flat out blunt. They were not all in. I'm not going to attach names to it. Sometimes there was egos and feelings that got hurt. There was relationships that were damaged. Sometimes there was guys who just weren't entirely all in. Sometimes there were guys who were all in, but they were way too nice. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out who I might be talking about with some of these comments. Okay, but Matt Rule seems like he is all in. He has sat down and talked with Osborne about how they had success, and he has tried to learn the Nebraska way and what works at Nebraska. Not every coach in the past has done that. In fact, I would say more often than not, they do not. They come in doing what they want, which to a degree makes sense, but every place is different. So why wouldn't you learn about the place that you're now coaching as compared to the place you were just at, what may or may not be different, what may or may not work? So I do think with his process that's worked at both Temple and Baylor, it's not exactly working the same here. It's also not working the same here because college football is way different than it was at Temple and Baylor. He's a development guy. He's a relationship guy. He's a guy who counts on loyalty. Those things are severely different than they were the last time he coached. So I think he's realizing that now and trying to adapt. All right. NIL and portal is so much more crucial than I think he realized in the beginning. And it's a huge factor as to whether he's going to succeed or any coach is going to succeed where they're at or not. So I think he's learning. He's trying to adapt. And I think he's trying to understand and evolve sooner rather than later with the way that college football is now versus the way it was previously, where he previously had success. My confidence level in Rule's willingness to, his confidence in what's worked, his willingness to understand and what's changed is very high. My confidence level in whether that equates to wins and more of them on the field is admittedly not as high, but I'm not saying it's low. I'm in the wait and see approach. I got to see how signing day unfolds. I got to see what else happened. What's the bowl game look like? Although the team's going to be so different going into the bowl game, after the bowl game. I don't know what we learned from that other than we want to end up with a winning season and win the bowl game because that's always good. It's going to evolve and change as we get new information throughout the offseason. All right. So for me, him learning, being willing to adapt along with the confidence of what's worked and trying to say, hey, this is what works now is very high. How well and how soon that equates to more wins, I'm in wait and see approach. Does that make sense, Jake?
Yeah, I think you speak for a lot of Husker Nation there.
Okay. Because there are other coaches. There's other coaches who former players believe should not have been fired. And I was of the mindset they're not willing to learn. They're not willing to change. They're walking around saying us versus the world, and the world included Husker fans. And that's not going to work. There are other coaches who just said it's me versus the world is how it came across to me. And that's not going to work. I don't get any of that from Matt Rule. Does that make sense, the difference?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. How much time we got in this segment? Probably got to roll?
Yeah, pretty soon.
I got a trivia question for you that you will not get.
Uh-oh.
I will bet you a whole lot of money you won't get this. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
There's only one member of the 2021 Ohio State recruiting class that's ever beat Michigan. Who is it?
You know what? I did see this one.
I'm going to give you a hint. It's a bit of a trick question.
Yeah, it's Quinn Ewers.
Oh, you saw?
I saw it,
man. So this was sent to me. It's a picture of Quinn Ewers in an Ohio State jersey, and he's the only guy from that 2021 Ohio State recruiting class. He's obviously now Texas's quarterback who's ever beat Michigan. Texas beat Michigan, thumped Michigan earlier this year. I just thought that was incredibly interesting. Speaking of gag me, Texas gets the SEC championship game in year one in the SEC. Oregon could, again, win the Big Ten. Texas could win the SEC. SMU, the ACC. Arizona State, the Big 12. It's so crazy to me. All these teams were in a different conference last year. We'll see how it plays out. But they somehow did not play Tennessee, Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, or Missouri. And they'll avoid those same teams again next year. That is insane to me. Isn't it? Like when we joined the Big Ten, they basically had us play the Bills, the Patriots, and the Bears was the schedule we had every year. It was like Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan. We'll sneak the 49ers in there when you're supposed to have a bye week. They did not do that to Texas, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we better head to break. When we come back, man, did we get any responses on the text line, by the way?
Plenty of them, yeah.
Give me one or two before we go to break.
Let's
Christmas.
see.
When are people doing Christmas? Give you the overwhelming answer.
Lemonhead says they decorate the day after Thanksgiving. There's a lot of Black Friday in there. A few questions. People are talking about the bowl games anyway, are maybe leaning toward the Pinstripe Bowl, though I do like one here. 5769 says the Bourbon Bowl versus the Mud Dogs.
Ooh, that's my favorite answer so far, the Bourbon Bowl. I like it. All right. Water's so much better in Gatorade. All right. Yeah, when we come back, Jake's going to give me a couple more responses. And Jake, I'll let you choose. I'm all prepped to talk Nebraska basketball, women's basketball, and volleyball. I'm all prepped to talk more college football. You let me know during the break what you want me to talk about. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
'Tis the season to raise a little Cane by bringing Raising Cane's hand-battered cook-to-order chicken fingers to your holiday celebration. Spread joy and good cheer with crispy crinkle-cut fries, garlicky buttered Texas toast, and our signature Cane sauce. Make things even merrier with our festive beanies, socks, mugs, and more for everyone on your nice list. And for a little extra holiday spirit, drop a Cane's gift card in their stockings. Happy holidays from Raising Cane's. One love.
Midwest Bank invites you to celebrate with us. Join us for our Christmas open house on Friday, December 6th at our 70th and Pioneers or 27th and Jamie Lane locations. We'll have cookies, coffees, and apple cider waiting for you, along with the chance to enter our raffle for some wonderful prizes. Come share the holiday cheer with us. We can't wait to see you there. Happy holidays from Midwest Bank. Learn more at www.midwest.bank. Member FDIC.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes, feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
Nebraska's Christmas Light Show is back and bigger than ever. The Magical Lights of Lincoln Christmas Show runs from Black Friday through New Year's Eve at Sandhills Global Event Center. Bring the family for a show they'll never forget, featuring over 1.5 million lights. Cost is $25 per vehicle from Monday through Thursday, $30 on Friday and Saturday, and also $30 on Christmas Eve and day. Purchase your tickets online today at christmaslightsinlincoln.com and get ready to experience a drive-through light show like you've never seen before.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln.
If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Hi, I'm Steve Carper for O Street Carpet. For Christmas, we're doing everything possible to help you spruce up your home without making a dent in your holiday budget. If you need new wood flooring, new carpet, ceramic tile, vinyl, area rugs, or custom blinds, you want to shop at O Street Carpet. We offer 12-month same-as-cash financing, Lincoln's best selection in stock, free in-home measuring, and we'll install it right away. 1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
This holiday season, recharge with the Planet Fitness Black Card for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. So instead of fighting a stranger in the mall over a stuffed T-Rex, bring a friend for free and work out on the TRX. Instead of freezing in line for a lame holiday deal, relax in the Black Card spa with some hydro massage feels. Instead of being trapped at your in-laws, escape to any of our 2,600 Planet Fitness locations. Sign up today for the Planet Fitness Black Card. Just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Deal ends Friday, December 6th. See Club for details.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. Jake's cracking the whip. He says we only got a few minutes. So we're going to do college football because I got like 3 Husker sports to talk about, and I want to give them their due time. So we will revisit on Thursday as well as reacting to National Signing Day. But Jake has a couple of responses from the text line and a question, and then I'll give you some, hopefully, interesting things in the world of college football.
Yeah, so we got some response to when did you decorate for Christmas? Husker Demon says after Thanksgiving because anything else is sacrilegious. In 1146 says,
"How dare you?"
Like a normal human being after Thanksgiving. So
wow,
there's a lot of people.
There's some shots in there.
Yeah.
All right, I'd fight you, but you're on the internet, so.
Then we did have a pretty good question here from Steven. He says, "How important is the speed in hiring a new defensive coordinator?"
You know, honestly, obviously, you want to do it sooner rather than later. For recruiting purposes, a guy like Dawson Merritt tweeted out yesterday he's Nebraska no matter what, so that's always helpful. Okay, but getting the right guy is more important than getting a guy sooner rather than later. You want to get the right guy, the best hire, as soon as possible. That goes without saying. But I don't want to get a guy in here really fast and then be stuck with them for a few years. Okay, let's get the right guy, and whatever that process is, and if we can get him in here sooner, it's going to help with transfer portal, it's going to help with recruiting. But you got to get the right guy first. All right. So Christmas, okay, you can give me responses without taking shots, people. All right, I have feelings. All right, what was any bowl game responses there?
Yeah, again, a lot of people like the Pinstripe Bowl. Some throughout the Mayo Bowl. Music City Bowl's been thrown in there. But it seems like, at least from these responses, people would like to see the Pinstripe Bowl.
All right. Man, the Pinstripe Bowl, Yankee Stadium, that would be kind of cool. My family and I are going, so I'm rooting for Phoenix, but I'm rooting for a great bowl game, the best opponent possible. And I know people, and I would love Oklahoma, but let's be real. Okay, they're going to fall down the list because there's a ton of SEC teams, just like there's a ton of Big Ten teams that are bowl eligible, but they're going to fall down the list because they've been going to bowl games, so they're not going to be as excited to go. Nebraska hasn't been in a long time. Nebraska is a big brand. We're going to bring a bunch of people, so that's immediately going to zoom Nebraska higher up the list, okay, of the bowl games, just like a draft. You know, this bowl game gets to pick first and this bowl game second. They're going to want to pick us ahead of a typical 6-6 team because we're going to bring a lot more people than a typical 6-6 team, whereas Oklahoma's probably not going to bring as many people, not quite as excited. It's been a little, more recent for their recent bowl games. So as much as I'd love to match up with Oklahoma, it may not happen. But any of the bowl games, all right, that were mentioned there could be a lot of fun. All right, let's chat a little bit of general college football here. Kyle McCord. Number 1 in the nation in passing yards, by the way. Number 2 is Cam Ward. Number 3 is Shadur Sanders. Number 4 is Jackson Dart. Who's number 5?
I don't know that one.
All right. It is Chandler Morris from North Texas. Kyle McCord beat number 6 Miami and brought Syracuse to a 9-3 record on the same day that Ohio State lost to Michigan. For the 4th time, the former Buckeye quarterback gets a little bit of reprieve on that. Also, the Syracuse head coach, Fran Brown, Mr. Showerpill himself, if you remember that from a few shows ago, at the end says, "Aye, Dabo Swinney, congrats, I got you in, baby." That was the quote, getting Clemson into the ACC title game after Syracuse knocked out Miami, opening the door for Clemson. All right, if you didn't know this, former Stanford star Andrew Luck is returning to the Cardinals to become the football program's general manager. That's going to be a phenomenal move. And I don't know that I saw this talked about much. And we're going to put a button on rivalry weekend, but Ohio State had a fan spitting on the Michigan players coming out of their locker room. But Jake, we didn't shake hands. All right, what else we got here? College football playoff chances of getting in. Oregon, 100%. Ohio State, 99. Really? 99. Texas, 99. Georgia, 99. Really? Even if they lose and get blown out? All right. Penn State, 99. Indiana, 99. Tennessee, 99. Notre Dame, 99. There's about 8 teams that are automatically in. SMU, they win, they're in. They lose, they're out. Same thing with Boise. Other teams on the bubble, around 53%. Iowa State, 49.4%. That's laughable. Alabama, put them at 99 because they're Alabama. Arizona State, 46. Winning, you're in. Losing, you're out. I thought that was kind of interesting. You look at the strength of schedules for some of these teams. Oregon has had a decent strength of schedule, but teams like Texas, Penn State, obviously SMU, Indiana, Boise State, Arizona State haven't had that tough a strength of schedule. So I wonder how much that's going to be factored in to the committee and who gets in and who gets out with some of those at-large wild card spots. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Adam Carriker Show. Don't go anywhere. The locker room will be right back, but I'll be back on Thursday. Until next time, go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the ball.
The electrical workers of local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from